Hey everybody, me Bryson Booker here. Okay, so I'm on Wikipedia just looking at some episodes about cow and chicken, and I see this link that says Smelly Telly. And it's like, Smelly Telly. And then I kind of thought back a little bit, because I'm a big Cartoon Network history person. And I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't Smelly Telly a promotion that Cartoon Network used in 1999, basically to advertise new cow and chicken episodes, where you could scratch and sniff a card that you would pick up from the Warner Brothers Studio store. You would scratch this card with the corresponding episode, and it would tell you on the screen, like, scratch your card now. And let's just say cow was sniffing a pig's butt. just throwing it out there. Basically, it would come on the screen and say, scratch Smelly Telly circle number 4. And so you would take, a penny or something and scratch the card, and then you could sniff it and kind of smell what the episode or what the characters themselves are smelling. And it was a very creative and interesting concept for the network. And I'm going to see if I can access this on the Wayback Machine. And no, there it is. So yeah, there it is. It even smells funny. It's just Smelly Telly. Yeah, and then it basically explains, wow, this is amazing that I'm able to go back. So this is CartoonNetwork.com from 1999. Wow. And yes, I'm using the Wayback Machine. So I wanted to do this video. I want to explore a little bit of Cartoon Network back in the 90s. When I started going on CartoonNetwork.com, it was, I would say, around the point in time where they started to have like a banner in the middle of it with all of the characters on it. Department of Cartoons. Some of this stuff is actually still here. Some of it is lost in cyberspace. But we'll see if we can actually dig in here. Let's see. So now I'm on the Department of Cartoons page. See if I can dig in here and find some more cool stuff. So there's some drawings of Adamant. So the Department of Cartoons. So what this part of the site did was pretty cool on CartoonNetwork.com. Obviously, it wasn't games or, little clips or something, but it was actually interesting for the animation historian like myself. On the Department of Cartoons page, you could look at storyboards, scripts, and even, drawings like this. And it would just give you a nice glimpse into how the cartoons were made and how they were produced. So obviously we got Adamant right here. And let me see if I can, and there's some more stuff with Adamant in it. So basically it's telling you how Adamant was kind of conceived. But there was another cool thing that I was looking at another day. So here we go. We got storyboards. You could look at the storyboards of some of the cartoons. I was looking at the Johnny Bravo page one time, and I was actually getting pretty intrigued with all the concept art and scripts and things that they used of that nature. So you could look at the model sheets. I probably can't get into some of this stuff because it's so outdated, but the Department of Cartoon Archives, you could look at things from Superman, Tex Avery, there's Johnny Bravo, Johnny Quest, Jabberjaw. Obviously, this is from 1999. Throughout the years, they added more to this Department of Cartoons page. So let's go to Johnny Bravo real quick, see if I can access him. And so there's Johnny Bravo's page, and it's, once again, we're on the Department of Cartoons tab, and we can watch clips. Obviously the clips nowadays aren't really accessible, but you could, these are some clips from season 1, some season 1 episodes, Super Dupes, Bungled in the Jungle, and The Sensitive Male. Like I said, all these were clips, but you could watch some clips, you could look at Johnny Bravo's storyboards, if it'll load. Yeah, there we go. You can look at some storyboards. Once again, these are from season 1. But obviously over time, and if you actually go through the years, right now we're on February 1999. But if you keep going, like around, I would say, March or April of 1999, or no, actually November, December 99 or 2000, they actually added more storyboards from like season 2 and season 3. So that's the Department of Cartoons. So you could look at all of this cool stuff. Look at the scripts and art and storyboards. It was so cool. So you had Departments of Cartoons. You had favorites. So let's go to favorites here. Like I said, some of this stuff may not be accessible. But basically this page offered, you know, different favorite cartoons that people had. Archives of cartoon favorites. So I guess you could say what your favorite cartoon is and it would come up here. Different things like that. If you go to TV, it'll show you the schedule, well, the old schedule of what Cartoon Network had on at that time. So Cartoon Network headquarters, and here where it says featuring, it would feature the episodes or the cartoons. Your 2 cents, so you could actually chat about what is coming up next and what's going on. Not much on this page nowadays. Games, obviously. There were some games. Keep in mind that at this time, you know, really all there was like a little Adobe Flash games. And the games at this time weren't as, you know, as in-depth as a normal kid would think they would be nowadays. You know, obviously now we got full-on graphics on computers. Well, back then, back at this time, you know, it was just little simple Flash games. So like driving a car and, you know, getting the highest score, that was about it. So it looks like you got this little Speedway game right here. And then help the Powerpuff Girls defend Townsville. I don't know what kind of game that is. It's not there anymore. But you had games like that. You had Zorak here, and so you could Zorak is stealing presents, and so you had to try to get the presents back or play as Zorak somehow. And they were just little Flash games. Obviously, at this time there was only like 4, but throughout the time CartoonNetwork.com was online, at least for its earliest run, they added more games. And then it says Shockwave plugin. So like I said, Adobe Flash was every kid's best friend at this time. I'm telling you. You needed Adobe Flash to do everything. And if you didn't have it, you begged your parents to download it. And definitely, it was definitely needed to do multiple things online and back in the day. Nowadays, obviously you don't really need Flash. Only some older websites that still have Flash games require Flash. But now we're on the Space Ghost area. And so this area obviously was all things Space Ghost. It showed you the guests that were on Space Ghost, the upcoming guests, general Space Ghost news, like the episode that was coming up next. So like the episode at this time that was getting ready to premiere was Brock in New York. So that was the upcoming episode. And then you got little articles here, star dates. These little star dates, where you know the characters would basically be discussing their own little tales. And you had little quizzes and tests where you could vote on something, and then you could view the results of other people and what they voted on. Space Ghost's poll. So let's see what else we can find here. So you got news, you got Home Companion, reviews, Council of Doom, and games. And then you could go back to CartoonNetwork.com. Let's go to the Council of Doom. See if we can access that. You also had Web Premiere Tunes. That little banner up there said Web Premiere Tunes. Web Premiere Tunes was kind of like the precursor, well, not the precursor, but kind of the aftermath of World Premiere Tunes. And so instead of airing the World Premiere Tunes on the air on Cartoon Network would have exclusive little flash cartoons, or mini 1 minute or 2 minute type cartoons that would basically be on the web, and they would premiere it every so often, and so thus they called them Web Premiere Tunes. They were just little cartoons. At one time I think I was able to access one of them, but I can't remember. And so the Department of Doom basically had all of Space Ghost's enemies on here: Black Widow, Moltar, Brock, Zorak, Medical Office. Basically all of Space Ghost's enemies, and then Space Ghost gives a disclaimer. Let's look at the games. This is really interesting. Guys, I would encourage you to do this, especially if you're a big 90s fan. This is heaven, exploring this old stuff. So you got previously released, you could play it, or you could download it. Brock's Bean Chompers 2000. Basically, that was just like a Pac-Man game. And then Blast Zorak. And then Zorak Stole Christmas. So you could play it here and obviously get Shockwave. So let's go back to CartoonNetwork.com. And it doesn't really load. And I think February 3rd. So yeah, this is from February 3rd, 1999. Let's click on Web Premiere Tunes and see if there's anything here. I doubt it, but Pink Donkey, that was a world premiere tune. Be Happy. These were just little mini cartoons. So yeah, this is the site of a world premiere tune right here. So it would tell you, about the web premiere tune, and obviously you could watch the web premiere tune. I don't know if Pink Donkey and the Fly is still on here, but this was just one of the many web premiere tunes that they had. I think there was one called Prickles the Cactus, I believe that was on here, before it got aired on TV, as well as this other web premiere tune about these cowboys or whatever. I can't remember what that was called. Something Pig Country. But, and I think it was this one. But anyway, they were just mini cartoons on the web. Just mini little flash dingies. Basically just like a Vine. That's how web premiere tunes were. Just like little vines. So, I think that's about it here. That's all I can access right now. You can learn history about Hanna-Barbera. There is a separate Scooby-Doo site for only Scooby-Doo, so I think this is as far as I can get. Can't go any farther here. But guys, this is so cool, and I would encourage you to do this. So, the classic Cartoon Network site. It's on the Wayback Machine. It's so interesting. You could look at their TV schedule. They were advertising Boomerang at this time. You had books, coloring books, products basically representing their cartoons. You had different products. You had classic Scooby videos. You had Cartoon Melody, which was their CD that had a whole bunch of Cartoon Network theme songs on it. I wonder if you could still find that CD. You had books, Scooby-Doo books. It's just very interesting to look and see at this time what Cartoon Network entailed and what it had, and the legendary reputation it got on the World Wide Web. So it's interesting.